Hello and welcome back. My name is Erica, and today I want to do a little bit of an introduction. I have been on YouTube for like 4 years now, and I've never really done a proper introduction. So today I wanted to just talk about the origin story of the Simple Homeplace and share a little bit about that and what the goal of my channel and my blog is, and just get into that a little bit. I feel like it's something I need to do, and I've been putting it off for a while. So I have my coffee here. If you want to go ahead and grab a drink, that would be awesome. And let's just chat a little bit. As I said, my name is Erica. I have a blog that is called The Simple Homeplace, and then I have the YouTube channel, also The Simple Homeplace. And actually the blog happened first, and that started, I think I published my first post in November of 2020. And then this YouTube channel I made as a complement to my blog, where I could share video forms of different tutorials that I was sharing. So if you don't know and you're new, I share a lot of recipes and DIY projects. Those are kind of the two main categories that I focus on. But I wanted to kind of start from the beginning and share a little bit about why I started the Simple Homeplace, what the goals are, everything I said at the beginning of this video. So I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet, but it might get a little bit long. But I'm gonna start at the very beginning of, becoming a wife, a homemaker, all of that jazz. So my husband and I are high school sweethearts. We met when I was a freshman and he was a junior. I was 14, he was 16. We've been together ever since, 17 and a half years, and we will be celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary here in August. So we were together throughout high school and all of college, and I actually graduated in 2014. I got a degree in business focusing on HR. And so right after I graduated from college, I actually started working in HR. So I graduated on Saturday and I started that next Monday. And I worked in HR for about 2.5 years. And it wasn't my passion. And maybe it was the place that I worked. It was a pretty tough environment, but it was something that was not my passion. But I was still willing to, continue on that road. And life just didn't work out that way. So my husband also graduated and started working in his field, and he always had a passion for sports. And so that was always his passion that he wanted to work toward. He didn't get a job in sports right out of college, but he was working in his field and all of that. But about, I guess, 1.5 years into our marriage, I don't know how long it was, but shortly after we got married, I ended up getting pregnant with our oldest daughter. And so, my plan was that she would go into daycare and we would continue working, and just the typical, what most people do, right? I was the breadwinner of our family, and so we relied on our income mostly. But within the span of 2 weeks, I ended up having my daughter. My husband got offered a job in sports that he had been wanting really bad. And we moved to a different state. So I gave birth, he got a new job, and we moved to a different state all within 2 weeks, or maybe 3 weeks. So that was basically my start into motherhood, which was really crazy. But, my plan was, I obviously quit my job, but my plan was, we're gonna move and get settled. I'll take a 3-month maternity leave, and then I'll find a job where we move to. No big deal. That was what I was thinking before I had her. But then I remember so vividly sitting there just looking at her when she was about 3 months old. And I told my husband, I can't leave her. I physically, I can't do it. You know, we were in a place where we didn't know anybody. We didn't have any family support. So it's not like we, you know, could get recommendations of people that had a good daycare or anything like that. But I just could not bring myself to send her to daycare. And I, you know, went through a little bit of an identity crisis, because what I didn't mention is that throughout high school and college, I was a very overachiever, high achiever. I was the top of my class. I graduated magna cum laude in college. Like, every goal that I had set, I had met and succeeded, and I was very driven. And so going from all of that success, being the breadwinner of our family, to not having that anymore was really hard. Not having my own money anymore was really hard. And my husband never made me feel bad about not bringing in income. You know, it was just, I stayed at home and I worked hard at home. And he worked really hard for our family. But I struggled immensely with my self-image, basically. Like, what am I bringing to the table? You know, I feel like I'm not contributing to this family. Again, my husband never made me feel like that, but I did, because I was so used to, you know, the hustle and bustle of things. And then to go from that to being at home all the time, becoming a new mom, it was just a huge shift. And looking back, I realized how hard it was. In the moment, I mean, it was hard, but I'm realized now how hard that really was for me. So I was very fortunate that I actually found a work from home job shortly after that 3-month mark. Like, when she was 3 months old, 4 months old, I found a work from home job. So it didn't, you know, match even close to my salary that I was making before, but at least it was something that helped. You know, I could pay a few bills. I had a little bit of sense of independence, because I hate to say that, because I don't want to paint my husband in a bad light, because he never ever made me feel like, oh, I can't believe, you know, you're not doing anything. This was all me, okay? But I don't know what I was saying. Anyway, I got that job, and I've been doing that actually ever since, for the last like 7 years, and it brings in income that, you know, pays for all of our miscellaneous bills and things like that, and I'm very grateful for that. So at that point, I felt like I needed something for me, something that was a creative outlet, something that wasn't being a mom. And while I love being a mom, and that was something I always wanted to be a mom, and I am so grateful that I am a mom, but I needed something for myself. You know, I was home a lot. We didn't have a lot of money. So it's not like I could just go do all the things. You know, we would go to the park a lot and stuff like that. So I decided to start a blog. And I don't know what the goal of that blog was. It was called One Broke Mother. I think I wanted to share like things you can do on a budget, stuff like that. It didn't get very far, and I ended up giving up on it pretty quickly. But at the same time, I also started an Etsy shop, and I think I got 2 sales. And I gave up on that really quickly too. I just didn't really believe in myself, and I didn't stick with it. So fast forward a little bit, my daughter was almost 1. We ended up moving back home to our home state, and my husband got an even better job, still in his field that he was pursuing. And shortly after we moved back, I think my daughter was about 15 months old, I got pregnant with my second daughter. And so that was also another adjustment. I had 2 babies in 2 years. And, you know, the second one was a lot easier. I was a little bit of a seasoned mom at that point. And so there was that. So towards the end of 2019, at that point I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I found Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone. And if you don't know her, you need to follow her. She's just so inspiring. She's a stay-at-home, work-at-home mom. She has 8 kids now. She didn't at the time, but she has 8 kids now. Cooks from scratch, you know, lives a more natural lifestyle. And I just was so inspired by her, and I wanted to learn the skills that she was sharing. And I wanted to share skills that I already knew, and I wanted to learn new skills. Like she was just so inspiring to me. And so that was 2019. Obviously, we know what happened in March of 2020. And I finally decided at the end of that year that I wanted to start my own blog. I felt that I had some things to share, and I wanted to share them, and I took the plunge, and it was something that I wanted to commit to because, you know, in the past, the blog that I had started, the Etsy shop, like all these things, I just didn't keep with it. So I decided I was going to stick with this no matter what, even if I wasn't 100% consistent. It was something that I wanted to stick to. So I first started off sharing recipes because obviously I didn't have a lot of money to really invest in it, and our family had to eat anyway. So I figured just sharing recipes, starting there, I already had to make food, so it was no big deal. So I started with that with the goal that I wanted to also share DIY projects. So the goal of the blog was to share simple recipes, easy DIY projects, and natural living. So basic recipes, in my eyes, are recipes that are easy to follow. They don't have a lot of ingredients and are kind of like base recipes where you can put your own spin on them. So that's what I wanted to be sharing. And as far as DIY projects, you know, I have taught myself how to do a lot of things. And sometimes it's been out of necessity or wanting to save money. So I taught myself how to sew. I taught myself how to crochet. I've started delving into building furniture and redoing furniture. And, you know, it's kind of evolved to what it is now. And right now, I'm trying to create a cozy home for my family. You know, when my kids were little, I didn't really take the time to decorate a whole lot because, you know, they're into everything. And we also just didn't have a lot of money. We had a lot of hand-me-down furniture or furniture that we had bought at the beginning of our marriage, and that just wasn't a priority for us. But now that my kids are older and they don't mess with things, you know, it's easier to create that space. And because I'm home all the time, I love being home. I'm a homebody, but I look at my home all the time and I want to create something pretty to look at. And so by learning the skills like sewing and redoing furniture and whatever else, I've been able to create a home that I love, and I'm continuing to do that. And my kids have even said, you know, how cozy they like our home, and or how cozy our home is, and how much they like it. And that makes me feel good because, I don't know, we need to feel good about our space that we live in and feel comfortable. So I've just been enjoying sharing those types of things, that you can create a home that you love and that's beautiful on a budget. You know, I share a lot of thrifting and, you know, thrift flips, making things that are not so pretty again. And then the natural living, I haven't really been sharing a lot about that, but I have a lot of tutorials on my blog of just, you know, making things at home, like body butter and lip balm and just different things like that. I think there's a lot of things in life that you can make that you don't even know you can make, and a lot of times it's cheaper to do so. The ingredients are better in terms of like body care and things like that. And so if you are somebody that wants to be on a budget but still have the things that you're used to, then learning how to make them is the way to go. And so my ultimate goal is to have tutorials be simple, easy to follow, inexpensive, and the end product be something that you love. And so I hope that I'm conveying that in my videos. At least I'm trying to. You know, video is a little bit difficult, and I'm still learning a lot. I'm still learning a lot about blogging too. But my hope is that you do come to me, learn something new, and you can go and do it for yourself. I want to be able to share the things that I've learned with, especially, young moms, young homemakers, or, even if you're a seasoned mom and maybe you're looking for more simplicity. I want to be able to inspire you to try new things and see that certain things aren't as hard as you might think. For instance, making homemade yogurt and making sourdough bread. It's not as hard as you might think, but we put that in our mind that it's really hard. And don't get me wrong, some of this stuff is time consuming. It's not as bad as you think it is, but it depends on where you're at in life. If you've got 3 kids and they're all in sports, well, you just might not have time to make homemade yogurt and sourdough bread. But if you're a homemaker and you've got little kids around and you've got the time to learn these skills and, hone in on them and get a schedule down, then that's what I want to help you with. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an introduction to me and who I am. Like I said, I am a wife, I'm a mother of 2, I'm a homemaker, I'm a work from home mom, and I feel like I have a lot that I can share with you, and my hope is that we can create a community where we're helping each other, whether that be in the comments or whatever, but that is my goal, and that is where all of my videos focus on. So I hope that is conveyed to you. I hope that, you found this interesting, but I felt like I needed to share kind of the origin story and a little bit more about me so that maybe the videos that I'm sharing make more sense. So my goal is that I will be having one of these coffee chats weekly on different topics. So if there is a topic that you want me to talk more about, I would love to just put it down in the comments. But thank you so much for being here, especially if you made it to the end. I do really appreciate you. But yeah, if you want to see more videos like this and you're interested in DIY projects, simple recipes, all that kind of stuff, thrifting, kids stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You can hit the bell notification if you want to be notified of all of my uploads. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you next time.